I want to talk a little bit more about Dillian Whyte and the possibility that he may leave Eddie Hearn and go sign with Haymon or even Frank Warren. And I do find it a little funny that Frank Warren is telling Dillian Whyte to, quote unquote, come and see us, when he's been insinuating over the past year or so in interviews that I've seen that Dillian is little more than a domestic level heavyweight. That's how it's come across to me anyway. But now he's telling them to come see us. And hey, Frank Warren would obviously love to sign Dillian Whyte, because if Tyson Fury defeats Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury's going to need contenders to defend his belts against. And what better than to have a British contender who has been doing pay-per-view, a British contender who has credibility, a British contender who can talk and Tyson Fury can build up a rivalry against. They sparred back in the days and Dillian Whyte claims he dropped Fury a bunch of times. So there's a backstory there which could be sold by Frank Warren. And yeah, you could see that happening. In fact, it's a possibility that you could see Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte even before Tyson Fury fights a rematch against Deontay Wilder. Because if they can't sort that out and Dillian Whyte decides to go with Warren, Warren will think, okay, maybe we can have Fury versus Whyte, a big British domestic dust-up, and the winner fights Deontay Wilder for the WBC. I wouldn't be shocked to see that. But I've heard some people say that Dillian is being ungrateful towards Eddie Hearn, and he's showing a lack of loyalty and all this kind of business. Well, I've been very consistent over the years with my opinion on loyalty in boxing. I don't think that there is any place in boxing for fighters to be loyal to promoters, managers, etc., or television companies. Because a promoter, for example, look at Bob Arum. He's in his 80s now, 70s, 80s. He has been making millions for decades. Fighters don't do that. Fighters can't do that. Most world level fighters have got a very small window of opportunity in which to make life-changing sums of money. With Dillian Whyte, how long are these multi-million pound paydays going to last? Another 2 years? Another 5 years? Another 6 months? Depends how his career pans out. But point being, these big paydays for Dillian Whyte as a professional boxer are not going to last as long as the big paydays for Eddie Hearn as a professional promoter. Which is why a fighter, when they are in, particularly when they're in their prime years, like Dillian Whyte appears to be now, they need to do what's best for their careers and do whatever it takes, hire or fire whoever they need to, in order to ensure that they make the maximum amount of money that their talent can possibly allow them to. So again, if they have to fire this promoter, hire this promoter, fire this coach, hire this coach, do whatever you have to. That's always been my attitude towards fighters and loyalty in boxing. So if Dillian Whyte feels as though Frank Warren or Haymon can do a better job for him than Eddie Hearn, then good luck to him. That's what he should do. He should follow what he thinks is best. Do I think that it will work out best for him if he leaves Eddie Hearn? I don't know. Financially, I mean, if he was to fight Tyson Fury, maybe that could generate some serious money, but BT Sport are a fledgling pay-per-view outfit. They're not doing Sky Sports numbers yet. How long will it take for them to build up that kind of Sky Sports box office reputation among the fans and potential customer base? How long is it going to take? I know they've got a very large customer base in terms of people who have BT, but in terms of people who buy BT box box office events. I think that is a slightly different customer base in terms of people who regularly do that. So, how long would that take them? So I'm not sure on how well Tyson Fury Dillian Whyte would do as a box office event, and whether that would generate Dillian Whyte the kind of money that he's been making and the kind of money that he wanted against Anthony Joshua, because this is apparently why Dillian Whyte is looking to potentially leave Eddie Hearn, because he wasn't happy with the first offer that he got to fight Anthony Joshua on April 13th. According to Eddie Hearn, it was multi-millions. And from what Dillian Whyte has been saying, he appears to want the same kind of offer that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder have got from Anthony Joshua. So the equivalent of 60-40, there or thereabouts. And his justification of this is the fact that he is a pay-per-view fighter, the fact that he's done 3 pay-per-views in his career. Deontay Wilder's only done 1, Tyson Fury has only done 2. So Dillian Whyte says, I've done 3 pay-per-views, why am I not getting the kind of offers that they're getting? And I guess you can make a case for that argument, but you can also make a case that Dillian Whyte has never been a heavyweight champion. But as I've said previously, boxing, what you earn in boxing is mainly determined by your market value. And if his market value is as high as a Tyson Fury or a Deontay Wilder, then he should be getting paid as much as they're getting paid. But is it as high? I don't know. I haven't seen the numbers. I don't know the international TV. I don't know the ins and outs. But I would doubt, I can't be certain about this, maybe I'm wrong, but I would doubt that Dillian Whyte's market value in the UK is as high as Tyson Fury's. I would doubt that, but as I say, I haven't seen the numbers. Be that as it may, Dillian Whyte has the opportunity right now to fight for the heavyweight title. It might not be the offer that he wants, but he's still going to get paid multi-millions. And if he wins, he's going to be the A-side in the rematch, because there'll be a rematch clause if he fights AJ. He'd be the A-side in the rematch, and in the rematch, he'd make a hell of a lot more money. And his earning power would be increased a massive amount if he beat AJ, and he would get to call himself the world heavyweight champion, and that's something they can never take away from you. So, in terms of risk reward, there is a massive reward for Dillian Whyte if he takes on and beats Anthony Joshua. Massive reward. And because the reward is so massive, and I'm not talking about the purse necessarily, it's what comes after the victory. It's a massive reward. He becomes a household name, a huge star. His earnings catapult, up to a new stratosphere. That's what's going to happen if Dillian Whyte beats AJ. And when you're in that situation, if you really want to become heavyweight champion, if you really want to become that elite superstar, and you really believe that you can beat this man, you seriously have to consider taking, 3 million or whatever he's being offered, 4 million, and saying, okay, I believe I can beat this guy. I'll get paid. I'll take advantage of this situation financially in the rematch. Not in the first fight, because I'm not going to get paid what I want in the first fight, but in the rematch, I'm going to get paid crazy amounts of money, and I'll be the world champion. If you truly believe that you're going to beat AJ, you're at least going to entertain that, because of the reward. It's so big. What is the alternative for Dillian Whyte? I've talked about the possibility of fighting Tyson Fury. Could that make him as much as an AJ fight? Let's say AJ offers him, 5 million or something, 6 million, 7 million. Who knows what they're offering him behind the scenes? The offers have not been made public. Hopefully Eddie Hearn follows through with what he promised to do. But is he going to earn more if he goes to Haymon? If Dillian Whyte was to fight Deontay Wilder, would he earn more than he'd get fighting Anthony Joshua? And does he stand to gain as much? If he beats Deontay Wilder, he gets one belt. And he has to fight a rematch with Wilder. Because he's not yet mandatory. And he looks a long way off becoming mandatory. Deontay Wilder, to my understanding, made some comments in a recent interview where he said that Dillian Whyte joining PBC would be the best move he ever made in his career, and it would make the fight against him a lot more likely. I mean, those are curious comments from Deontay Wilder, because he was offered, what was it, $7 million or something, or $8 million a few years ago to fight Dillian Whyte. I mean, there were several offers made by Eddie Hearn to Deontay Wilder to fight Dillian Whyte. But bizarrely, Deontay Wilder turned those offers down. I mean, nobody to this day can explain to me why Wilder turned those offers down. Very strange, because he was making far less than that against the people he was facing. Why all of a sudden, if Dillian Whyte joins PBC, is Deontay Wilder saying the fight will be a lot more likely? Very strange. It does make you think that Al Haymon may have been the one who was blocking Deontay Wilder from taking the Dillian Whyte fight. Al Haymon thinking, you know what? I don't want to risk Deontay against anybody outside the camp, anybody who's seriously dangerous outside the camp, unless Deontay stands to gain something serious from beating the guy by way of championship belts and upping his market value by a substantial amount. Against Dillian Whyte, it was a payday, yes, but other than being a payday, what did it really do for Deontay Wilder? Did it up his market value and his reputation if he was to beat Dillian Whyte a couple of years ago? I mean, not really, not by much. More so now, maybe. Perhaps that's why he's entertaining it now. But again, even recently, Deontay Wilder has been saying, I ain't fighting no Dillian Whyte. Or, Dillian Whyte says he messaged him and told him he's going to make him wait 2 years to get his mandatory shot. Why would you even say something like that to somebody? I'm going to make you wait 2 years. Just really strange behavior by Deontay Wilder. But anyway, you look at the alternatives for Dillian Whyte other than being with Matchroom, and you do wonder whether they're going to be as lucrative. That's the point I'm really getting at. And we have to wait and see. I mean, at the end of the day, we're never going to know, to be honest. We're never going to know, because are they going to disclose how much money Dillian Whyte's making if he goes to a Frank Warren? Probably not, because in the UK, promoters tend to keep fighters' purses private. If he goes to Al Haymon, they may well disclose some of Dillian Whyte's purses, but they don't always disclose the pay-per-view revenue. They'll disclose the baseline purse, but the pay-per-view revenue on top, they often don't disclose it in the United States. So we may never know whether Dillian Whyte is earning better money when he's with, if he joins Al Haymon, than he's earning right now with Eddie Hearn. It's down for Dillian Whyte to make the decision that he thinks is best for his career. And, some people have said Dillian Whyte knows he's going to lose to Anthony Joshua, which is why he wants a crazy amount of money. And if that is the case, if Dillian Whyte knows he's going to lose to Joshua, and to him it's like, okay, you better pay me cash out type money if you want me to hold this second L. Does Dillian Whyte really want to lose right now? Maybe he thinks, you know what, let me continue developing. Let me take on Deontay Wilder. That's a fight I think is easier than the Joshua fight. Or Tyson Fury. That's a fight I think is less dangerous than the Joshua fight. I'm not saying these fights are easier or less dangerous, but I'm saying potentially this could be Dillian Whyte's mindset, And if he was to fight AJ now, take 3, 4, 5 million, whatever it is, and get knocked out, where does Dillian Whyte go from there? Do his days as a pay-per-view fighter end? Does he go right back down to the bottom of the ladder? Is that what he's afraid of? I'm not saying that he is necessarily afraid. I'm just, asking the question as a possibility, because we're trying to understand why Dillian Whyte is considering doing what he's doing right now, which is leaving Eddie Hearn. Who knows? these are just my musings on the situation, possibilities. But bottom line for me is, I've got no issue with Dillian Whyte leaving Eddie Hearn. I think that fighters being loyal to promoters and managers and trainers is misplaced, because those managers, those promoters, and those trainers are going to have a career long after you're retired, long after you're past your sell-by date as a fighter. They're still going to be training young fighters, promoting young fighters, managing young fighters. They're still going to be making the millions, and you're not. So don't worry about being loyal to them. They're good. They ain't going to have no issues. The likes of Eddie Hearn and Scott, they ain't going to have no issues if you leave them. They'll find somebody else to promote. So do what's best for you. And, don't let nobody hold you down or pull you back. And to be fair to Eddie Hearn, he's saying if Dillian wants to go, let him go. No problem. We do great business together. Eddie Hearn, has admitted he doesn't have a contract with Dillian Whyte. It's on a fight-by-fight basis, just as it was with Tony Bellew. I've been saying this for years. He's not going to try to drag Dillian Whyte down into some kind of lawsuit or legal action. If Dillian Whyte leaves, he can go leave. He can join Frank Warren, do whatever he wants. You have to give Hearn credit for having that easy come, easy go attitude with fighters, because that gives fighters a lot more independence. So, yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comment section below. Will Dillian Whyte leave Eddie Hearn? Will he join Frank Warren? Will he join PBC? There is the possibility that he just turns down the Joshua fight but stays with Hearn. And in fact, he alluded to that possibility in one of the interviews that he did. He said that he would like to fight Dillian Whyte, and he said he'd like to fight Dominic Brazil, He said he'd like to fight Dominic Brazil, and he would be open to the possibility. He'd entertained the possibility of fighting Brazil in the US on PBC, but he said that it would probably make more money in the UK on Sky. So, Dillian Whyte is also thinking about fighting another pay-per-view in the UK against Dominic Brazil on Sky Sports box office. We'll see what he does. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.
Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.